Okay, this is Hans Westman for the 3D modeling and animation course. As we move into the second module, there's a couple things that I wanted to, or I should say, I wanted to show you how you can actually import your template images and give you a pointer also in regards to direction for modeling, just to get a sense as to what you should be thinking about. And I will be also providing you with some additional links, so keep an eye out for that also in the announcement area to help you get up to speed, both in 3D Studio Max as well as Maya as well. So we're going to set up the situation here of being able to have template images so that you can use that as a guide when you start to model, regardless whatever your object is going to be that you're working with. And I'm using something which is relatively simple just as an example. And this was from an earlier student in another course. So let's start out first of all by creating the projection or template images which we want to bring into the view panel here, which is what this is called. And if I go to create and I click on a free image plane right here, you can see that an image plane has been created. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, create the next image plane that I want to bring up here. And I can do that by holding down Control and then hitting the letter D as in duplicate. Doing that, I now have two different view, or I should say image planes in here. And I can see that by going to Windows and to the outliner. And it will show you that I have image plane 1 and I have image plane 2. So image plane 2 is the one I want to have selected currently. And on the y-axis, I'm going to rotate this by 90 degrees. I think it's minus 90 degrees I'm going to do it. So by doing that, now you can see that I have one image plane here, one image plane there. And let's start out, first of all, by going to the front view. So hold down the space bar, left mouse button on the word Maya, and then select front view, just like that. And I'm going to select this image plane, which is in the front view. And then I'm going to go to the attributes editor, which I can access either by clicking on this icon right here, or I can hold down Control and hit the letter A. That will do the same thing. That's a shortcut key. Here you can see image plane, and there is also a folder. If I click on that, what it should do is bring me to the source images, which I see here, and there should be some image files in here, because this is where you would have those stored normally. So if you just hold on 1 second, I'm going to load those up there, and then we'll get back at it again. Okay, so just to clarify, what I needed to do was to reset the project that I had set up before, because I had been out of the program or used it for something else. And where you do that, let's just go ahead and close this here. File, and then set project. And then you can see here, Westman. I have it the desktop, and I went to Maya, and now I'm in it. And this file here, the smell script, is the one which keeps track of everything which is involved here. So that's what I did. By doing that, it would take me to this folder where those images would be stored, and it would be in the source images folder. And you can see that. That way, when you zip your file and you submit it, everything is included and there's never a problem of something being excluded. So we're in the front view, and let's go ahead and take that image, which would be most appropriate, which would be this one, obviously. We're going to hit open, Now you can see that that image has been applied to it. And then the next one, if I go to the right view, I think is what it is, right view, and I click on this one, this is going to be from the side, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and I think it is going to be this one that I'm going to be bringing in. So now you have this in there, and if I right click and go to the perspective view, now you can see that I have like the front view like that, and then if I go to looking at the right when I'm moving around this thing here, that you can see what I'm looking at. So side view, front view like that. So and the left view, looks like I've got both of those in a good shape. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move that image plane down to here, move this one here, and then I'm going to go to Create, Polygons, and then go to Cylinder. And just to make sure that I have everything where I need it to be, I'm going to decrease the amount of geometry, which is be generated here by the axis subdivision, change it from 20 to 8, which I guess is the default, hit Create, and then I have this very simple section which I have here in the middle. And I think it's important to try to be as simple as possible because you build up your detail as you move forward through the project. And again, if we go to the front view and look at it, you can see that we have this object now set up here, and I can start to use the template image as a guide to kind of set it up. And I know this is symmetrical, so other objects obvious would be a little bit more complex, but this will give you a sense as far as where you need to be and where you need to go. So I'm going to pull this thing down right about here. And, excuse me, I'm also going to go to shading, and I'm going to put on the X-ray, just like this. Right-click, go to my vertices, and because I have everything very symmetrical and placed in the center, I can be sure that whether I'm going to be scaling an X, Y, and Z together, which this is right here, it's going to actually be okay as far as making sure that the symmetry is still intact. So bringing this down here like that, as you can see, it's a little bit different down here. So I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, and then also like this. And from here, then I can start to go to perspective view and do some extruding. So I'm going to first start out by going to my faces. I'm going to select this, and then all of these, Shift, holding down Shift, left mouse button, and then going to Edit Mesh. And I'm going to be doing a number of extrudes. So what I did here is I took Edit Mesh, rested my cursor on the perforated line at the top of the menu, clicked on that, so I tear that off just like this. And I can go down to Extrude. Control E is also another shortcut. And then I get this a tool, which now is attached to one of these polygons. And also you can see I can either extrude these as independent polygons or have them pulled together as one unit, which is exactly where I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing down here like that. And if I click on this little icon, which is floating in the upper right-hand corner, it changes the position from local, where it identifies one polygon, which is going to be manipulated, and it changes its manipulation position to the common center of the sum of all of these polygons that are collected together. And the reason that I want to do that is because I'm actually going to scale this down a little bit like this, okay? And from here, if I go now to the front view again, you can see where I'm at with that. And possibly I want to do another extrude. So let's go ahead and do that next extrude just to see where we're at this point like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on extrude one more time. That's one way to do it. And then I'm going to go ahead and bring this down about like this. And then again, there. And then maybe one more time. I can now hit G because that will repeat the last thing that I've done. And now I'm going to go ahead and scale this down like this. So now I have a basic shape right here that I've created. And I'm not going to belabor this much more, but there's a couple things that I wanted you to be aware of. One is the ability to extrude your shape and to try to keep things simple. That's the first thing. And also the process in which you would load your template images so that you can start to work on this. And that would be the end of this video. I'm going to go ahead and see if I can minimize this right here, which is kind of strange. Hold on a second. And I can close that. Cancel. Okay. Okay. All right. I can't do this while I'm recording. So I'm going to stop recording right now.